Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It is 8 p.m. That means we go live no matter what. No matter what we're doing, no matter who's involved, we go live 8 p.m. Matthew's on a phone call, so he decided to get on the phone call and do something. I don't know. What in the world is going on? I'm getting a bunch of messages right now on my phone. Hey, what up? Trevor Leathers. Shout out to Trevor Leathers for finally following me back on Instagram. Jeez. Oh, man. That is a cutie of a capootie. If I do say so myself. Guys, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. If you're listening, wherever you're listening, welcome to the stream. It's not my stream today, but the guy that's supposed to be here for the stream is not here for the stream. His name is Matthew Leathers, and he decided to walk off screen because he doesn't want to start at 8 p.m. But that's the thing about our... Oh, got another message. Yeah, right. If you guys know anything about me in this podcast, is I start at 8 p.m. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care where you're at. We start this freaking podcast at
except for last week
sharp.
Except for last week.
What time did we start last week?
We didn't start last week at all because you decided to go to your cabin.
How many times have we had a podcast where you weren't involved or a part of it?
This was a big podcast.
What podcast? It was your week.
The day before 4th of July.
Yeah.
We had a guest for the podcast who you and I both were going to be with. So yeah.
Well, the thing is,
because you decided that you didn't want to do last week, now Lewis, aka our former guest, he just decided that he's busy today. So that's on you.
Lewis, our big main man, Lewis, is still in love with me. I think he mostly was scared because he didn't know if I was going to be a part of it or not, because he knew that last week I wasn't going to be a part of it, and that you told him that it was all because of me, because I was at my cabin.
Yeah, because I was ready to go.
Because of that,
weren't ready.
He said, I don't know if I want to be a part of this because Regan is not on the podcast. And so how are we now? It's confirmed. It is.
I've got receipts.
Well,
I've got receipts.
Where's the receipts?
AKA the freaking chat. You ready? You ready? Here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. Share my screen now.
Oh, you're gonna share all our DMs.
I'm gonna share all of our DMs.
Then people are gonna know that we freaking messaged Dua Lipa.
Yeah, we did message Dua Lipa. Hey, Lewis, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Regan decided he was going to his cabin this weekend.
Exactly.
He won't be back for the podcast.
Exactly.
He was forced the hand. We will be taking off this week and be back next week. Sorry he had to do that to you. He said, all good. I'm actually on a ferry back to New York City. Mm-hmm. Wasn't sure if I would be able to make it in time. So it had nothing to do with the fact that you weren't going to be there. Actually, it had nothing for the fact that you weren't going to be there. But you forced the hand for all of us.
No, it seemed like he was all good with me not being there, but now he just doesn't know if I'm going to be there or not. And so he's trying to figure out if I'm going to be here or not.
Because he was told right away that you weren't going to be there.
Exactly. So he doesn't want to be there.
No, you said he's trying to figure. He's trying to figure out whether or not you're going to be here or not. No.
I was talking about last week. He knew that I wasn't going to be there, so now he's just trying to be like, well, he wasn't there last week, so he's I don't think he's going to be here this week. And sounds like
so
they're in a
he
huge
assumed-
argument between each other. And you know what we also got to do?
He's assuming that Regan is a flaker, a serial flaker. So he's
Exactly.
gonna flake 2 weeks in a row.
Exactly. He hasn't
even
been
worse on
here
your
long enough
conscience.
to know that I am not that much of a flaker and that's actually you. And he's got nothing to worry about.
Oh.
So Lewis, if you're listening right now, you got nothing to worry about, my guy. And you know what? I'm here. I'm ready to talk. And
almost every it's a holiday, he's always calling out for the holiday. Almost every single one.
calling out for the holiday.
Yeah.
My
Because you
boy
can't freaking-
Lewis.
You cannot know you because you can't stand up to your freaking wife and tell her, no, this is podcast day. All right?
That's what I
This
did
is podcast
today.
day. Yeah, good. So she better freaking hear this now.
Yeah, I've
You're the
only
man.
missed one episode. How many episodes have you missed?
You have not missed one. You missed multiple.
I've missed one.
We'll go back to the receipts here. We'll go back to our Instagram.
All right, bring it back in, man. You bring up the receipts. The receipts are there, man. The receipts are there.
Oh,
Gosh.
So good.
Did you want to talk about Hero?
Oh, dude, I've got a long list of crap to talk about. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I don't usually do this unless you good.
What?
Are you good?
Yeah, I just heard some pounding. I was like, what the heck?
Oh,
I'm sorry. Just
No,
keep
you're good.
going. Just keep going, dude.
no, but you look concerned, so I was just checking up on you. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, I needed to get a drain cleaner this last week. My drain
Big
has
time.
been kind of slow. It's not bad. It's tolerable. It's okay. But I just need to get a drain cleaner. And I called this company, and I don't want to call them out, but their name is Hero Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. They're out of Minneapolis, Bloomington, Minnesota, located at 10900 Hampshire Avenue, Suite 120. And I had them come out to run a diagnostic just to see, hey, what's going on with my drain? What's going on? And come to find out, I need to get drain cleaning. I knew I needed to get something, but I just wanted to run the diagnostic, make
Mhm.
sure. So, story is the guy comes over. I walk him to the bathroom. And I show him, hey, this is where it's draining slow. We tested it out. We ran the water. We saw that it wasn't draining very well. So we went downstairs to go look at the pipe underneath the house. And basically the guy was like, yeah, this will be, we'll have to do either hydrojetting or running a cable to clean it out. Shouldn't be that big of a problem. So I was like, okay, yeah. So if you could write me up a quote, that'd be great. Let the guy do what he had to do. And I went back upstairs because I work from home, had to make some calls while he was writing up the invoice. Not invoice. Don't want to call him out. Juice draft. Yeah, I didn't want to call him out. I'm sorry. But they're, just so everybody gets the context of it. I had a
He's
plumber. He
livid.
was from I had a plumber. He was from Hero Plumbing, Heating, Cooling. They're out of Bloomington, so Minnesota. I can give you the address too, but I don't really want to call him out too much. But so they come out. He writes me the quote. He comes upstairs. He shows me the quote, and he said on the quote it said hydrojetting. It had 3 levels. Hydrojetting. It had cable, and then it had my diagnostic fee. How much the diagnostic fee was? It was like $69. For hydrojetting, it was like $1,500. For cable, it was like $800. So first things first, just so you guys know, I work with contractors. That's my job. Like I work with contractors and lawyers. So I know the general cost of thing for projects. And I told the guy, I was like, this is way too expensive. Not going to happen, basically. So the guy just dips out. Well, later that day, I go and take a shower. My laundry room's downstairs. So I go and take all my laundry downstairs. And all I hear from behind me was that there was water leaking from the pipe. And so there was water leaking from the pipe and it was splashing on the floor. So I walk in there. Sure enough, there's a freaking hole in my pipe.
Right in there.
Right in there. Regan was there. Regan saw it.
I was there. It's a true
Regan
story.
saw the pipe. It's a true story.
Very true story.
And
It's not
we were like,
making it up.
what's going on? So I'm pissed. Okay. I'm pissed. We put on a temporary piece of tape on there. It was all right, whatever. It didn't really hold up. So I called customer service yesterday to leave a complaint and get a call back from a manager to potentially get this fixed. So I get a call from, I don't really want to say her name. Her name's Grace. Her name's Grace, and she works for Hero Plumbing, and they're out of Bloomington, Minnesota. Her name's Grace, the customer service manager. She basically, you could hear it on the phone. I called her. I explained everything I just explained to you, and I told her, when your rep on your drainage piping,
Yeah.
I don't know what the drainage piping is. I think so, maybe.
For his bathtub and 2 faucets in his bathroom. It's the drain pipe.
Yeah.
Or the drain.
Whatever that is. I think that's what he's talking about. So I explained everything to him. My assumption is when I was there, we never had any leaking problems. And then after they were there, now we've got leaking problems. Now there's a hole in the pipe. When I went down there originally for the diagnostic, there was no hole in the pipe. When he left, there was a hole in the pipe. So I call because I'm skeptical. This guy, he did for sure. And I've got some proof because I got a plumber who told me that this looks like somebody took a nail and potentially messed with it. And I called, spoke to Grace over at Hero Plumbing in Bloomington, Minnesota. Customer service manager, give her a call. And she tells me flat out, Matthew, there is no way they could have popped a hole in your line. There's no way. All they did was run a diagnostics. I trust my guys. I trust the techs that we have. There's no way that they did that. And so I literally said to her, Grace, tell me how this happens. No hole in the pipe. Your rep comes. He's by himself downstairs running the diagnostics. Then there's a hole in the pipe. How does that happen? And she couldn't answer at all. So
I trust my guys.
I just trust my guys. We have thousands of 5-star reviews that show that we're really good. And I'm like, yeah. Or she goes, all of our techs, we trust them. We train them. And I know for a fact that they didn't do that. And I said, you did it, then it's only, you did it, then is only the only option left.
Then is the only option. You did it. You did it. Then is the only option left or left? Or what is the only, what?
Can you clarify that statement?
Yeah. As he asked you, what's the only, what's the last or what's the final option?
I mean, I didn't pop a hole in it. Why would I do that to my own pipe? First off, after telling them that I didn't need service, I didn't want to work with you. Why would I do that to myself? But she basically told me that they didn't do it and that they believe in it. They train their people to do what it's right. And I said, yeah, there's always bad eggs in a company. You ever heard of people who like cops that are really bad cops? Yeah, there's bad eggs everywhere. There's bad eggs every company out there. So, long story short, I'm arguing with her for, God, 20, 30 minutes. She basically says, we're not going to do anything for you. The only thing that we can do is reimburse you and refund you for the diagnostic fee. And basically, you're out of luck. And I'm going to be honest, I felt pretty bad. Regan's totally paying. He's posted on Instagram. This is more for the podcast.
Yeah.
But Regan's totally paying. I freaking. She said, all right, I'm going to give you your refund. And I said, okay, F you. And then I hung up. And I felt really bad. I shouldn't have done it, but I was pissed because she's literally telling me to my face that I'm a liar, basically. So I left a review on their Google page, and I figured I'd read it. At least maybe a part or two of it. So that way you guys can see it. Oh, and I'll show you the picture too. So here it is. Hero Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Drains. 1900 Hampshire Avenue South, Suite 120, Bloomington. Do not recommend going there at all. They're a bunch of crooks. So basically, this tells you the whole story of what I just told you. I got to see. I told her. I put in I put in a call for customer service to speak to someone that can help. I spoke to Grace, and she said that she knew for a 100% fact that the tech did not and could not have done this. And then I said, answer me this, Grace. How is a hole not there when you get there and then appear after you leave? And how is the hole pushed in? If it were something inside, it would be pushing out the hole. Then it's a different story, but it's pushing in. So here's the hole. Let's see if I can I enlarge this?
I think you should be able to. Oh, you put a dude, I tried to find your review. I wasn't able to find it.
It's on there now. Let's pull up in my Gmail here, actually. See if I can. Oh, stop sharing for a second.
Yeah, you better friggin' hide that. That's for sure. You got some real friggin' secret. Like, I go to their
Oh, hold up.
Suite 120. Yeah, I go to their newest ones and I don't see yours. Wait, that's 3 or 4 hours.
So this hole was not here when we left. Okay, or when I was down there. But we come back and guess what? The hole's there. Now, if you see here, we'll just scroll in. You see the shading here? You see that? When you see it in person, the hole, if there's something in the pipe, right? The hole's gonna pop out, right? If it's damaged from the inside, it's gonna pop out, right? But this is punctured from the outside in. So someone must have punctured this hole in order for it to have happened. So you see the shadowing here? You can see on the outside of it, you can see where it was indented, right? And this is just taken straight from my phone. So
it's pretty blurry too.
It is pretty blurry too, but if you
can
scroll out,
you could still see that it's this way. Somebody did it, like it had to come from the outside, not the inside.
Yeah. So I sent this to a plumber.
One of the best plumbers you probably know.
Yeah, it's something hitting it from the outside. Exactly, Juice Giraffe. So I had a plumber, Regan's dad. Shout out to Regan's dad, Paul Dvorak, freaking awesome guy. He gave me some tips. He gave me some tips about temporary seal just to hold us over. So we're gonna get a temporary seal put on it. And then he said he'd come out and see what he can do to help. But I sent him the photo, and guess what your dad said? He said the exact same thing as I did. But he even said this. He even said this. He said the copper copper pipes, which that's a copper pipe, he said the likelihood of that ever like getting punctured from the inside is like slim to none. Doesn't really happen. In that those copper pipes last hundreds of years.
Right.
So the chances of it getting penetrated from the inside is like slim to none. And I sent him the photo and he was like, yeah, it looks like somebody punctured it from the outside. So I'm like, am I just going crazy here? How does this company operate? So I go and look at their reviews, and guess what I found? They had a review from somebody that needed their AC to be fixed. They had the guy come out, run the diagnostic, right? They didn't get service done because it was too expensive. And then a couple days later, the heater or the AC heater, whatever it was, is in more damage now than when the guy showed up. So I asked your dad, I was like, is that a common thing? And he was like, they had like a documentary or news thing that they set these plumbers up to try to like see how they would handle like simple fixes. So he said it's pretty common for like the bad companies to do that.
Well, Matthew,
yeah.
You've encouraged me to go through all these 1-star reviews and like every one of them.
Let me see if I can find it, because
I can't find yours.
It's on there, dude. It says published 3 hours ago.
Wait, Hero Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Drain, Ducts, and Electrical.
Oh, here you go. Had Hero. Here, let me share my screen just so people can see it. Okay. Had Hero out to diagnose why our AC wasn't cooling our home. The tech did a nice job explaining everything and offering options on fixing and replacing. I decided to think it over for a few days and get back to them. The night the weather cooled off and we woke up the next morning to a very cold house and a furnace that was constantly starting and stopping. We had not had any trouble with our furnace prior to this. When I called them to ask them to return and fix the issue, they said it would charge the trip and the cost of repairs, despite the fact that I hadn't had furnace trouble until they worked on our system. I declined the return trip and worked with Pronto instead. So that right there, that one review backs everything that I'm saying, is that this has happened before. So it tells me that this guy truly punctured my freaking pipe, and now I'm getting screwed over for it.
Jeez, I mean, but there's nothing
replacing a copper pipe, like that's probably a custom copper pipe.
Well, you don't usually have copper pipe for your drain, but but still, that's ridiculous. That's, I don't know. You should have cameras. That, I don't know what's that. They did I feel like a newsroom did a study or like a social experiment where they had like a plumbing and heating people come out to look at their like water heater,
and there was nothing wrong with it.
And they had a professional like there. Yeah, there wasn't like there was a small thing that needed to be. Me. Yeah, and it was just like, and people will just say, "Oh yeah, we need to fix this just to get money off of you," or do something like that where it's actually a problem. Well, they can't get mad at me because there's actually a problem there. But it's just people need to be held responsible and accountable, but there's nothing that you can hold them accountable because there's no evidence that's actually pointing to them technically. Not saying that they didn't do it, but I'm just saying because there's no like actually proof.
It didn't do work, so they legally can't say that.
Well, didn't you have to pay for them to come out?
I had to pay for a diagnostics fee, but they didn't say anything about a hole in the pipe at all. Right. And I know he inspected the pipe. I know he did because we both looked at it.
Well, then
both
you
looked
can,
at it.
yeah, then you can say like, well, okay, then why didn't you tell me about this hole in the pipe? Because there was no hole in it, and now
And
there's a
when we-
hole in it.
When we ran the water, how come there was no water draining down the pipe? Huh. I don't know. It's fishy. And
Yeah.
your dad, obviously, Juice Giraffe saw it. I see it. Regan saw it. Like,
Yeah.
it was punctured from the outside. It wasn't me. I know it wasn't my brother who would have wasted time trying to puncture a hole in a pipe. I know it wasn't my family because they wouldn't do that. The
What
only
kind
other
of
person that
family
was-
would that be?
Yeah. That'd be such a messed up family, dude. It'd be like freaking the Addams family, but like just playing pranks, horrible, dark pranks on people.
Right? I don't even know. That's ridiculous. That's just
Anyway, I got my refund and I feel bad because I cursed at her and then hung up the phone. So I'm repenting right now out in
on
the open,
live air.
on live air. And I apologize. I apologize, Grace, but you're an idiot.
Well, you know what? Maybe you should call her back and on
I'm not-
live air.
Call her
Live
back right
air.
now and apologize. No, I'm not gonna apologize. But I'm apologizing generally speaking to Jesus and telling him, hey,
Oh,
I
you don't want to apologize to Grace for treating her that way?
No way.
Matthew,
It doesn't say repent to that person. It says repent to Christ. Repent to God. Your repentance goes to God, not to the person that you did it to.
Okay, but
Am I
repenting
wrong?
means to turn away.
To turn away. Yeah.
Yes, to turn away from those actions. Okay, so you admit that those actions were wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so then why can't you just say, you know what, Gracie, those actions I did was
so repenting
were wrong.
actually means the action of repenting.
No, in
sincere regret or
the action of
remorse.
repenting.
I'm looking up. I looked it up, so I wasn't saying anything.
Look at the
wrong.
biblical version of repents.
It says it right here. Each person who turns to God in genuine repentance and faith will be saved. That's under the definition of repentance.
Biblical.
It's not turning to the person and apologizing to the person. It's taking and repenting to God.
Okay,
away
but
from.
Okay, yes, but you're turning away from those actions that you were doing, right?
Sure, but that doesn't mean.
Okay, no,
apologizing to the
well,
person.
It's admitting. It's saying, okay, I was wrong
to God. That's who I'm doing it to.
But so then you don't think, Matthew, then you don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, I do.
If you didn't for treating Grace that way.
I don't have to do it to Grace that way.
What do you mean?
I'll give you the real definition and the real meaning of repentance.
Oh boy.
Repentance is reviewing one's actions and feelings
or
regret for past wrongs, which is accompanied by commitment and actual actions that show improve a change for the better.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm repenting to God, telling God, I know I was wrong.
Okay.
I know I did wrong, and I'm not going to do that to her again.
But part of it is like, I mean, I'm not saying you should do it, but you should also be sorry to Gracie or Grace, whatever her name was.
Well, that's why I'm repenting.
Yeah,
I know I shouldn't have done it.
But
I know I shouldn't have done it.
Would you, if Grace was on the phone, would you say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have acted that way?
What do you mean?
Like if she was here, like, or somehow she was here listening to this conversation and you were talking to her about this and you're like,
oh,
you know
sure. If she was somehow on the call and she was on it, I would say I'm sorry to her.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm not going to.
No, I'm not saying, I mean.
That's all I'm saying is if she was here, sure, I would, but I'm not going to go out of my way to call her and say, you know what? I'm sorry.
You don't think that would be like maybe a good thing to do? Because she probably went home and was just like probably felt really bad.
I don't think she did.
I mean, not saying what she was doing. I don't think what she was doing
tone?
was. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't there though.
I'll give you her tone.
Okay.
I literally said, "So Grace, I want to put you in my shoes. You come to my house. I don't have a hole in the house. I have one of your guys come here. They run a diagnostics. They leave. Now there's a hole in the pipe. Do you not expect me to be upset? Is there a like? How do you not see this?" And she's like, "Matthew, none of my techs did this. I trust my techs. We trained our techs." And she had a downward demeanor the entire time that she knew for a fact, with no question, that her techs didn't do this. So
Yeah.
I don't think she realizes is that she put me in that state.
I mean, I agree. I don't think she shouldn't have. I mean, you
It's like a cop. It's
no,
like a cop
you
for
can't.
a second.
I mean,
It's like a cop. You have to
can't-
de-escalate the situation. She never
Yeah.
de-escalated.
But it's just she needed to be better for sure.
Yeah.
But and I agree that she shouldn't have treated you that way and everything like that. But that doesn't mean give you a right to treat her that way and say, you know what, it's her fault the way I reacted that way.
It is her fault.
No,
If she would have
it's
de-escalated the
not,
situation,
Matthew.
if she would have if
You
she would have
own
if
up,
she would have de-escalated the situation, I wouldn't have been upset. I was upset because she pretended and acted like she had no problems.
or you could have said, you know, your what is it? Customer service skills are horrible. Let me talk to your manager.
She was the manager.
Yeah, someone's above her though, or your
No.
superior.
In your particular opinion is that everybody, as long as they're all upper management, they're all Yeah, you do.
no, that is not what I
Yeah,
believe.
they all own the business.
Nope.
No, but she literally, there was nobody, they would not give me to anybody else. On my review, I even said she wouldn't even give me any options, not to speak to anybody, no job, like, hey, can you at least come fix it? Nothing. So
Yeah, I mean that's just poor customer service, and I agree. She needs to get better at that. But yeah, I think
everything except saying f you and then hanging up, outside of those two words, I was perfectly fine. I don't think I had any problems. I just had some regret for those last two words.
right.
That was all. Was I pissed the entire time? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and she probably needs to repent too. And
she needs Jesus, I think.
Everyone needs it, but
no, but like she needs Jesus. She like needs Jesus. You know those people. You know those people that like need Jesus. She was one of those people.
Yeah,
one of those people.
Yeah, dude, that's how it is. That's kind of, I don't know, but it's whatever, you know.
Yep.
It's just kind of.
Well, now I'm out more money though. That's the problem.
Wait, I thought they refunded you.
Well, I'm out 60. I'm back. Oh, okay. Sorry. They refunded me $68. But now I have to pay somebody to come fix the pipe. And I still need to have a drain cleaner. Like I still have to get that done. But your dad gave me some options for drain cleaning, so I think I can get it figured out.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably. I wonder if it's.
He said there's some stuff called Thrifty, and it's better than Drano because Drano's just like basically. It's basically bleach, he said, and it like crystallizes, I guess.
Yeah.
And Thrifty drain cleaner doesn't do that, I guess. I don't know. I'll trust your dad more than anybody for plumbing at this point.
I mean, my dad has been doing it since he's been like 11 years old.
Yeah, I should have had him come out in the first place. But I felt bad. Big prayers out to Regan's dad, by the way.
Yeah,
he's
my dad
recovering right now.
Well, I mean, he's working too. Well, no, I shouldn't say that.
He's recovering slowly.
He's recovering.
But surely.
I mean, I don't know. It's amazing how that he's. I don't know.
You want to tell him kind of a.
Well, my dad was basically literally in a house fire, a room fire actually, where the whole room pretty much lit on fire, and he was in the middle of it, and basically burnt his arm, his face, well, his arms and his face, and yeah, just kind of had some issues there. So he had a bunch of blisters and all. It was kind of nasty. But yeah, he's doing well though now. He's recovering and doing pretty well. It was kind of scary at first, but because I had no idea. I just got a call from my mom, said your dad was burnt. Your dad was burnt. I'm going to the hospital. And I beat her to the hospital.
You beat her to the hospital?
Yeah, I did.
Was he closer to the cities?
Yeah, I mean, he works at the State Fair, so he lives in St. Paul, and so he went to the one downtown
So
St. Paul.
Yeah.
I wasn't down there; I was in Burnsville, but I still drove over.
You were there. It's a lot closer
like
than
in that
freaking
in the area.
St. Michael's or Albertville, right?
Yeah. Well, my mom, I don't know where my mom was at the time because she's kind of works close to the cities too. I don't know. Well,
what was your dad's company's name?
His company,
not his.
Framenschen, King of Framenschen.
Oh, my brother. Hello, Trevor.
Gosh. He works for
St. Paul, Minnesota. If I see it,
it's like a red thing. I don't know what it. Shoot, what is it called? I worked for him too. Like I worked for this company.
Bonf?
No. It's
Is it Rasher?
No.
Big Dave's?
I think my dad has a LinkedIn.
Oh. Let's show your dad's LinkedIn, huh? Oh. It says obituary on.
Oh no, Dad.
Oh, no. Please.
Oh, gosh.
No.
I'm doing well. King of Framen.
King of Ramen Shin. Spriggs.
That's it. Yep, that's it.
I think I've called them for work, actually. I think
for like your work or to work on something.
They don't have a website. Nothing. I need to check on my daughter.
Oh gosh. Oh, that's right. Matthew's flying solo. Look at this. Matthew is all home alone this week. His wife, is on a mission trip. So shout out to Matthew's wife, Kaylee, for killing it on the missions trip and going out. And now Matthew is home alone with his daughter. I think his grandma's with him. Well, at least that's what he told me. And pretty much just doing it. I did review on Nightmare on Elm Street, NES game. Do you mean Elm Street, King of Ramen Shin? Or do you mean Nightmare on Elm Street? Because there's a huge difference. But yes, of Elm Street or Elm Street. One's with an M. Elm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, is it pretty good? I started playing a game. If you guys didn't see, I got the old Spider-Man remastered, and man, I feel like I could just play that game for hours upon hours. It's one of those games that there's always something to do, and I love it. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into too much into it, but it gets a little bit crazy sometimes. Yeah. I don't know. We are hopefully going to be starting here. I think we're kind of over our 30 minutes. It's 8:40 and Matthew is nowhere to be found right now. We're supposed to be going over secret invasion or secret invasion. I always want to say secret wars. It good, but difficult, but I almost beat the game. You almost did it, man. You almost did it. And that's always a good thing to almost do it. I'm just looking at everything that I have had open. Oh, I hear them.
My lord, dude. My lord.
What?
She just won't stop crying.
What is she with your grandma?
Yes. Like, just relax. It's been like 45 minutes.
Oh, it's just a kid. They just want their parent.
I realized, but 45 minutes of it?
Nah, that's a lot, but you just kind of ignore it because what you have to do with kids sometimes is just eliminate all hope that if they cry, I'm going to do something about it.
It's been 45 minutes of eliminating their hope.
Yeah. So go another 15 minutes, an hour. You know how it is? Especially you know that.
Okay.
Actually.
All right. Let's get this friggin' episode running.
All right. Let's go. Here we go. Oh, shoot. I'm just reviewing it or previewing it. Let me go back. We're going to go live. And 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Goof and Goober Show. You decide who's the goof and who's the goober. Join Matthew and Regan as they talk all things from their own personal life questions to reviews on movies and TV shows. Now, your host, and Matthew.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Goof and Goober Show. This is episode 25. And what better episode to be on? Because today we're going to be talking about a couple different episodes of the Secret Invasion Marvel TV series. Last week we want to apologize for being MIA. Regan had some things that he had to deal with, and unfortunately we had to call it off for the 4th of July. But we are back better than ever. Regan, as usual, is my co-host, my co-star, my co-pilot when I host, and I'm his co-host, co-star, co-pilot when he hosts. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? It's good to see you.
Hey.
Hey,
I feel like I saw you a couple days ago.
I mean, you did. We hung out this weekend. And
yeah, that's right.
If you guys weren't here on the pre-show, man, we talked a lot about what we did this past weekend. These past few days, actually, because Matthew did some crazy stuff, yelling at people on the phone and just killing it, or letting people know like how they feel about
killing it for work, though.
Killing it. Oh yeah, that's
Another
right.
deal ski
That
today.
is right. No way.
Another deal ski today.
Matthew's killing it. Did you get first, second, and third for that?
Well, okay.
Or did they say you can't? You only get first.
Right. So I got first place, but
Yeah,
somebody did get second place.
So no third place.
I won't get all three. Killing it work. Yes, I am. So I did get first place.
Portile.
That is my sister, Portia.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so we run what's called it's called TOC. It's called Tournament of Champions. And they usually run it the last 4 days, 5 days of the month. Well, they wanted to run a reverse TOC this month. And it's the top 3 spots. And the top 3 gets different winnings. I won't say the winnings, but it's different levels. So number 1, you get the most. Second, you get the second most. Third, you get the least most. And so I got first place. What I also did win is I actually won a ticket to the Dave Chappelle show in Austin.
No way.
But they have a room, and I would be going with our CEO, sales manager, or the director of sales, the top 2 in sales, and then the top 2 managers in sales. But I'm not going to be able to go because it's in Austin, so they're just going to cash me $400 for it.
400 buckarooskies.
400 buckarooskies for it.
That sounds
freaking paycheck.
That sounds freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah. On top of hitting like crazy, I'm also winning which for me has been adding up to money, which is good because I have a lot of bills I have to pay off. Lots of bills. Well, not a lot, but just one that's a big one. So
the big roof.
Gonna finish that off. I'm almost done. It's like 5K, and then it's it. So at the end of the month, baby. At the end of the month,
did you get a full roof replacement?
Full roof replacement.
Dang,
and
dude.
The garage.
My dad just got a full roof replacement. Tell me about
Their house
it,
is bigger than mine.
Yeah, well, it just, and then his neighbor did his roof. Well, his roof was worse than my parents. They had shingles missing. It was just destroyed. But he has State Farm, and State Farm is only paying for 3 shingles. It was stupid.
I hate State Farm.
It's State Farm. How dumb State Farm is.
Dumb.
I
hate my insurance company, but I'm so glad I'm not with State Farm because I had to pay like 75% and they paid 25% for my roof, which is like, I mean, it's better than 3 shingles.
Right?
Is there somebody joining?
I don't think so.
Spontaneous joining? Is that what you're doing?
Huh. What the? Oh
hello?
Gosh.
What's going
on? Is Nick from the interviews. Nick, how are you doing?
Hey,
that guy.
Doing great. Glad we could reconnect. You must have got my voicemail and letters. Just wanted to follow up maybe. See
are you at a baseball game or a football game there?
No, let's see. How do I switch the camera? I don't think I switch the camera.
You should be like at it should have like a circle thing.
Don't see a circle thing.
This is kind of out of the blue for the podcast.
We're having a second interview with a guy who's outside.
I can show you.
Well, actually, you know what? We have an informant out on the ground right now. Nicholas, what is going on right now? Can you give us the inside scoop of what's going on outside? Can you give us an interview possibly?
Sure thing. So we got a little soccer game going on actually.
Okay, could you maybe ask one of the players on how well they're doing?
I can't do that.
Someone on the stands.
One of my absolutely one of my biggest weaknesses as a candidate is I'm shy.
Oh, that's okay. That's
important.
Okay. Nick, what team seems to be winning here on the ground?
Why don't you go ask that old man?
Sure. Hey, excuse me. You know anything about this game? Who's playing? Okay. Cool.
You know who's winning?
None. Okay. Good to know.
Hey, sir, can you give us the inside scoop?
Yeah.
It's like pretty evenly matched.
Okay. And what would you say the ages are for?
Oh, great. Very cool.
For what would you say the ages are for the soccer game?
Is like high school.
Okay, the big high school.
So
Okay.
let's paint this
Right,
picture.
right as I walked over to the fence, he he walked right next to me the whole time. And I don't have my AirPods died, so he heard all of that,
Oh.
enjoyed all of that.
Yeah.
So let's paint
I'll
this
narrate
picture
from the
here.
corner over here.
So let's paint this picture here. We got a guy, 6'3", 6'4",
Mm-hmm.
skinny, older gentleman, single,
Yep. Single.
videotaping a middle school to high school kid, females soccer game.
Is it females?
Happens the best of us. It's actually men's. I
Oh,
videotape men
Looks
too.
like
I mean,
females from here.
oh, wait for this. Wait for this.
Oh, please score
You
on
can't see it all. I swear there's not an option to my rear camera. I'm not even.
There
being-
should be.
There should be.
There's this, which turns my video.
Right.
This I can chat with you. There's no icon.
Interesting.
for it.
Mm,
I'm pretty good at finding icons, and I don't see one.
That's true. He is really good.
Okay.
He is a tech guy. That's the benefit of having Nick, is that he's a tech guy. So,
mm.
yeah,
For some
I
reason,
mean,
though, he can't operate the application. It's kind of weird, strange.
yeah, I mean,
You know, not to second guess you guys, but are you guys on this app on a cell phone or
Yeah.
just a guess? Because I am, and I think it just might be different.
Are you challenging our authority?
I'm just asking questions.
that's good.
Huh.
He does ask.
That's good.
He is our informant
He's a
on the
big
ground.
question asker.
He's
Joe Rogan
the-
taught me
Oh wow. Wow. Matthew, I mean, I wasn't expecting Nick to get on. But do you have like any questions for him that you might want to ask him for the interview? Or anything?
Mhm. I've got a couple.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm not sure if you heard about the incident that had happened recently,
Yeah.
and there was it was like a pod type thing. It was like a pod that was sealed. And
Podcast.
No, not a podcast, but it was
Oh.
a pod, and that pod was sealed, and it went down. It like went really deep into like the water.
Yeah.
I think it.
Yup.
Yeah, somewhere around. It was like a pod or something like that.
Yup.
And it exploded and killed some people.
Yeah. Is there a question in there or?
Yeah, I was just asking if you heard about it.
Oh, yep. I did hear about it. I actually followed it pretty closely. My former life is in human spaceflight, and so safety culture and safety design in a vehicle is something I've thought a lot about. And did you guys see some of the details of the sub? It used a wireless Logitech gaming controller to steer, and it had no other backup. Did you know that?
No other backup.
Huh.
Like they didn't bring another controller with?
No, and the one they used was wireless.
Huh. So how do they like co-op it? You know, split screen.
I don't know. They did have a tiny monitor in there to show the camera feeds as well, but probably a normal monitor. But the safety design, not great on that sub, I will say.
So
As
if
an
you had to
aerospace
change
expert.
if you had to change one thing about it, what would you have changed?
Do more testing on the hull, because it appears that there was a structural failure and an implosion at the depth, and that's like
Mhm.
it should be the first thing you test for submarines. And they use an experimental material and design that's cheaper that they got left over from a different company, the actual carbon
Yeah.
fiber. And so they're really just like kind of cutting corners in the materials, and they didn't really like do the right testing. So
Mm,
I'd go back and either get a better hull or do more testing, or both.
okay.
Now, Nick,
I'm curious. So when they did that trip, did they just
You pay for your own trip.
obviously, yeah.
they paid round trip? Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Oh,
That's
okay.
unfortunate. I wonder if they got refunded.
Too soon.
I was just
Um,
curious.
I have a question for Nicholas.
Yeah.
Nick, do you follow GG on Instagram?
I do not. I didn't know you guys were on Instagram. I'm only a Twitch follower.
Oh my gosh. I can't. I can't.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
He's not freaking following our Instagram page. If you ain't following our Instagram page, you ain't getting in, guys. You ain't getting in.
Don't even know what to say about that.
What can I say? All I can say is you're welcome at this point, right? Like, we brought in some guys, clearly weren't the good fit.
Well, I mean, we still have 3 more candidates to kind of work through, and
Yeah, God forbid they could ever enter our podcast again. Like, that's the big problem.
I mean,
That
yeah.
Savannah girl or whatever her name is, she couldn't
Sierra.
get the freaking camera. Sierra, she couldn't get the freaking camera to
Yeah,
work.
that's true.
And
She's just
then-
bad internet. That's for sure.
And then Riley, all he wants to talk about is friggin' sewer drains and why they're circle.
It's so
like-
boring, dude.
So
Why-
boring.
Like, why bring it up in an interview? Like, this is a podcast about just movies
And fun.
and fun things. And
Not
he wants to go and talk
drain
about
manholes.
manholes and why they're circles, not squares. It's frustrating, and it's hard as owners, business owners. It is so hard to
Yes.
find good employees,
Mhm.
and trying to associate them
Mhm.
with your company values.
Mm.
And
Maybe it's us.
it can't be us, because
I mean, we didn't hire them, so yeah, you're right.
right. And
It's
it's
not
just
us yet.
frustrating because we want people to be on, we want people to come on, but it's just like you got to have the values, and oh my gosh. So it's frustrating. It's
We
frustrating.
need to canvas more, man. We need to canvas
yeah.
and filter and pipeline these people down and pipe them down as we go and filter them through. And at some point, we'll pipe down the right people.
Pipe them down, dude. We'll freaking pipe them down. That's for sure. I don't know. I don't know. That was just out of the blue. I have no idea that was happening, and that was just
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is episode 25. You guys weren't here for us to talk about some stinking interview people, even though it's completely random. You are here today because we were talking about Marvel's new TV show, Secret Invasion, episode 2 and episode 3. Regan and I have been on a little hiatus,
Mhm.
and we're freaking back ready to go. And we got
Mhm.
2 freaking juicy filled episodes. Juicy.
Oof.
Now, I'm going to preface this now before we get to the end of this season. And I'm going
Yep.
to make a hypothesis. This is going to be one of the best. This is so far one of the best, maybe my second best favorite Marvel TV show that has came out yet. Behind Loki season 1
Of Marvel.
for Marvel. Yep.
Mm.
And we won't know. We're only halfway through. There's 6 episodes. We're halfway through. But
Are there?
it could change. It could change. But as of right now, it's one of my favorites.
I mean, it's only gotten a 6.8 for 6.8 on IMDb. Why? Maybe. Hang on. What is the? Yeah, 6.8 overall rating. So it's not. I mean, people. I don't know.
Is that
For
Rotten
me,
Tomato? Or is that...
That's IMDb.
So-
IMDb rating.
So the way those scores work is that those are critics who either agree or disagree with the audience. That's all that is. So like
Yeah.
if you look at like Rotten Tomato and it says 61% critic score, That just
Yeah.
means that 61% agree with the audience score.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's some stuff to flush out there. There's a lot of
Always.
interlying there, but
Always. Yeah.
oh,
What?
I don't know about you, but I just got a huge freaking list of notifications from my cell phone.
Oh, you're on your
From,
phone right now.
Oh, I don't know. My phone was off to the side, but a guy just started liking all of our photos and commenting on them. His name's Nick Schleif.
Mm.
Any coincidence there?
Definitely not the guy we interviewed.
Huh.
Sounds like
Sounds like someone else.
somebody completely else. Oh my.
What?
Nothing. It's just,
I'm just getting a lot of notifications.
just a lot of notifications right now. This is crazy.
Like a whole list of yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into Secret Wars episode 2 and 3.
Secret
follow us
Invasions.
on Secret Invasions. I'm ready for Secret Wars. I read Secret
Yeah.
Wars. Secret Invasion, completely different. We're going to
Completely
episode 2 and 3 for Secret Invasion. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube. You'll get updates on what our next episodes are going to be.
Yep.
Instagram at the Goof and Goober Show, YouTube at the Goof and Goober Show, and pretty much everywhere else, Facebook, Twitter. You'll see us on Apple Podcast. If you just heard our stuff from YouTube, we also have that on there. But we're going to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Regan, episode 2 and episode 3. Give me your individual scores, non-spoilers, really quick.
Yeah, from the last time we left off at episode 1, it was just a good lead way, I think, for this whole new series of Secret Invasion. We get a crack at Rhodey as he comes in on episode 2 and dealing with him, and then dealing with just kind of Nick and Talos in episode. I don't know. It's a wild roller coaster, that's for sure. There's a lot going on. It's just every episode it's moving forward. I feel like it's not necessarily like The Last of Us, where The Last of Us, they had some episodes that were just kind of filler episodes. And wasn't fully moving towards the story. But this, I just feel like every episode so far has been moving the story forward, and it just kind of keeps you more involved, more engaged, and you want more. So I love this. I don't think it's as good as The Last of Us so far. They haven't really shown me that. I mean, The Last of Us, there's so many good things out of The Last of Us. I mean, this isn't about The Last of Us, obviously. But this, I would say, is probably my second for 2023, second best TV show this year. I don't watch a whole lot of TV shows, but right now I'm involved. I love what I'm seeing. And I especially liked episode 3, kind of towards the end, where we kind of get that
Cliffhanger.
You get we'll
No
talk about this
spoilers.
more. I know
We get a little something
I know,
at the
and
end
but like there's something there that I'm like, oh wow, they're bringing it back. So they're bringing it back to different parts in the Marvel, like phase 1, or and so that's just very intriguing, and I like. But and it's good that they're doing this, and so I mean, these last 2 episodes, out of a rank of 5, I would give these probably a 4.2, right off the top of my head. Nothing really to complain about. It's been very good. There hasn't been very much pullback from this series of okay, let's do a little side mission or anything like that. It's go 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 go, and that's what I want. That's what I need. And Marvel is stepping up their game here a little bit. This Secret Invasion is what we've wanted out of this Phase 5, and they're killing it. They're killing it right now. But I'm not too excited about what's going to be coming over the horizon with the
Marvels.
Marvels, yeah. And I don't know. I'm not. We'll see. I'm not a big fan of the Marvels, the girls that they've been doing. The episode. What was the not Miss Marvel, but Captain? Not Captain. Oh, it is Miss Marvel. And then yeah, this is Miss Marvel, and I'm not a big fan of her. Captain Marvel was all right. I like that one. But these Marvel things, I wasn't going. So yeah. What about you?
This is an easy 4.6 out of 5 for me. Easy. One episode's a little bit more pumpy pump, if that makes sense. A little bit more touchy feels, not touchy feels in like a sexual way. I said that wrong. Hits you a little bit than the other. So it's just a different type of episode. But I echo everything Regan was saying. The one thing I will say is when you see Samuel L. Jackson on screen and when he's acting, like it's really hard for him to mess up. Like that's how good of an actor he is. And so anytime he's on the screen, like I'm having a good time. Like
Yeah.
you really get invested with Samuel L. Jackson just selling Nick Fury and what he's done, who he is, the way he acts. Like you would think that this is a guy who's gone through thick and thin, and you would believe that this guy is a real guy. And so that's what I love about the show so far. Nick Fury has been killing it, but I echo everything Regan is saying, and we'll talk more in depth here in just a moment. So that is your spoiler-free section. Now we're gonna get into some freaking spoilers.
Spoiler!
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 I'm gonna spoil your milk. I spoil your milk. Every single day I spoil your milk. Alrighty. So that's your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the episode, go and watch it and come back. We've already got your view. So
Episodes.
yeah. Go back, watch the episodes, and we'll have a convo. But other than that, we're jumping in. So
Let's do it.
let's freaking go.
Let's freaking go.
Secret Invasion episode dose. Pretty packed into episode here. Let me pull open some synopsis here. Obviously we've got Secret Invasion.
Do you want me to do it? I got it pulled up here. Rhodey is charged with telling Fury that he's out of America's intelligence, but even when Fury is out, he's in. Meanwhile, Gravik is put in command of the Skrull force on Earth and becomes their new general. His first step is to put an end to Earth intelligence, but is unaware there's a traitor in the ranks. Oh, that was just the storyline. That wasn't.
I got it.
My bad.
Oh, that was just a storyline.
That wasn't the synopsis. I just saw something. I was like, "Oh, this looks like it," and then I
This is
didn't
good.
even read the headline. I was like, "Yeah, that's it," and it went for it.
Yeah. So basically, we start off the episode that we're gonna go by characters here, by the way. But we see kind of the backstory of our villain, and our villain is his name is Gravik. And basically, he's just this kid who grew up as a Skrull on Earth, and now he wants to take over Earth. Like that's just what he wants to do. He wants to take over Earth, kill all humans, basically. Now that's what he's doing. That's what he set his goal to. He is played by. Let me just pull this up here. Pull up the cast here. Obviously, we've got Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. We got Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. We got Kobe Mulder as Maria Hill. We've got Kingsley Benadir as Gravik. We've got Amelia Clark as Gaia. We've got Olivia Colman as Sonia. We've got Don Cheadle as Rhodey. Martin Freeman as Everett Ross. And more to come. Let's just hit this for a second. This is a freaking star-studded cast, right? They brought in everybody for the most part.
Mhm.
Like the people who aren't like the big top dogs, like they're here though. So the people you really want to see in this show, they're meant to be here. And Regan's playing a friggin' video. So we've got Talos. We've got Talos. We've got Samuel L. Jackson. We've got Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury, and then we got Kingsley Benadir as Gravik. At the beginning of the episode, we see that we see the kind of the indoctrination portion of what Nick Fury's vision is for the Skrulls on Earth. We see Gravik as a young kid who is basically entering in to assist Fury in protecting the Earth as a Skrull, right? That's what we see. And we see that Talos is kind of banded with Nick Fury and said, hey, we're ready to work with these guys. And, that basically the Skrulls should trust him. What I want to talk about is how Nick Fury, for an example, how he started, right, in this episode to where he's on the train, right? Because I think this is a really funny section. Because we see Nick Fury come in. He's basically indoctrinating these kids into saying, hey, come protect Earth, right? And then after that scene, we see a train and they're on the train. And then all of a sudden this random girl pops up and Talos is pretending to be a girl. And Nick Fury goes into this whole dialogue about him and this girl growing up and his grandma saying, let's play a game. And the game is tell me something I didn't know. For me, as someone who likes to watch interrogation videos, this was really cool to me. Like how he navigated this conversation, because I was like, what's going on? What is he trying to fish? What information is he trying to fish for? So I'm curious what your thoughts were on that piece, because I feel like Marvel in this whole series could be more of an investigative type of a series, TV show.
Are you talking about more kind of like a mystery or like
an interrogation? Like a show just straight up at interrogations. Mystery, interrogations, stuff like that.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't really think too much of it. I think that was just, I didn't think it was that clever. Like for an interrogation tactic, I didn't think it was that clever. I mean, it was pretty obvious he was trying to get something out of him, and then he just didn't want to say it. And then I don't know. It wasn't like the best option.
How would you have done it differently?
For Nick Fury?
Yeah. I mean, it worked.
No, well, it had to work because that's the point of the plot. He had to tell him that all the Skrulls are there on Earth.
I know it was a point of the plot. I realized that. But how has he been lying about it this entire time? And now finally he's opening up and having this dialogue.
How is it?
Yeah.
Because it's part of the whole story. He needs him.
Hold up 1 second. Somebody's videoing me. Hello.
This is like oh gosh.
Well, it was nice getting to know you, Nick. And he hung up the call mid.
No, I don't think there was a good point. Like it's a hard thing. Like interrogation. I'm not a good interrogator, but for me, that was just too obvious, and it was just too easy because he's already telling them, now tell me something I don't know.
You don't like the way he positioned it?
No, it just made it seem like he like it
He
just
knew
they
something
were
was up.
trying to. It wasn't even a detective type situation. It was just him trying to move the, or not even him. It's
Regan,
the writers
there's
trying to
this-
move the plot, and it didn't seem that
There was this one
Good.
time, Regan, that my mother, she used to tell me to do this thing, but I didn't tell her. So she used to ask me this thing. Tell me something I don't know.
Did you know that for the submarine that went down to the Titanic, that they had one controller, and it was a wireless controller, and was the only control that they brought down? The more you know. You see how easy that would have been for him to deflect the whole situation?
So I'm curious. They've been friends. The reason why I asked this, they've been friends for how many years?
Well,
how
they've
come this is the
known
only-
it's not like they're like best friends though.
They've
they're
been
not like-
friends.
Yeah, they're friends. I
colleagues.
agree.
He
I wouldn't say
married
they're
a Skrull.
close. He made it. Yeah, he married a Skrull, but that doesn't mean he's close to him.
He is close to them. That's how it
No,
works.
gosh, you have no idea.
King of Ramen Shin. Have you ever watched Miss Marvel? Captain Marvel?
Me?
Yeah.
Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I've watched Captain Marvel.
Yeah, clearly you didn't. Because they weren't friends, they were enemies, and then they became friends at the end of the movie.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're close.
They're close.
No, that means you're
They're
just
really close.
friends. No, that doesn't mean
really
you're really
close.
close. No, that doesn't mean anything.
They're really close, man.
He then went out of the world for 6 or however long he was out of the world.
And then he goes,
For long, and then they basically said,
and then they met
Hey,
up for beers, and they were
Mhm.
like, how come you left me for so long?
"That's in episode 3. We're not there yet."
They're like, you left me for so long. You loved me, didn't you?
No, that's not. What
It's
they
like a
kinda
bromance.
did that. It is
I got a
bro- I
bromance
mean,
feel, man, out of it. If it's not a bromance
did?
feel to you, then
I
there's
didn't
a
get
problem.
that. I don't feel
It's
like
a
they are
bromance,
bro.
dude.
I feel like if Nick Fury needs to, he'll kill him. And that's just the Nick Fury that I think that Marvel has been showing, is that Nick never really gets close to anybody. And if he's always has a one up on somebody, and if they cross him, he is willing to cross them back
They're freaking.
or cross them first.
There's a whole article here. I've got it right here that they
There's-
became very close allies.
Just because
It
it's
had
an
a
article doesn't
long
mean that it's
history.
true, Matthew.
It's another article that backs what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I probably
not
could
an
find an
article that
article that
doesn't
backs
back
what I
you.
say.
Maybe you didn't find one though. So I am more right in this scenario right now. King of Ramen Shin said Nick is old but still cunning like a detective, and that Nick is gonna kill Rhodey. That's what I was gonna get into next year.
The next
After
year.
we talk next here,
Oh, next
after we talk
year.
about Talos
Okay.
and Nick Fury. So as Nick Fury's kind of been off world, I don't know about you, but like there's a big change in how he was when he was on world and then when he was off world after the blip, coming back to Earth from episode 1, and we now see it in episode 2. But we also see, so what's her name? What was the girl's name? What was her name? She died in episode 1.
Oh, you mean Maria?
Maria Hill.
Maria Hill?
Maria Hill. Yeah, she died first episode. And we kind of see the weight. We kind of see the weight of the effects in the choices that Nick had made
Mhm.
from Captain Marvel into Secret Invasion. Now, is that for me? As I'm going through this movie, I'm just thinking, or this TV show, I'm like, man, all of this could have been avoided had he not partnered up with Talos and the Skrulls in the first place, right? But now he's feeling the weight. Like, imagine what happened to him when Avengers 1 happened, or Avengers 2, right, or Avengers 3. How much he freaking took versus just getting one person killed. Imagine how the amount of people that died between all three of those movies. like how is he still alive? Like his, if that makes sense, right? Like he was casted away, but like he basically got a bunch of people killed.
Nick Fury?
Yeah. This is how the ownership comes down to, Regan. I'm testing your ownership here.
My ownership?
Yeah. I'm
I
testing
don't
ownership here.
I guess I don't understand how, like, because he left world, a bunch of people's deaths were on his hands.
Had he not brought in the scrolls, had he not communicated with the Avengers and tried to build the Avengers,
But
these
that's
events might never have happened.
But that's the question that we've been trying to figure out, is that when was Nick Fury, like, did somebody step in and become a scroll? And so that could be a situation we have to figure out. But I don't think you can blame, like, if he leaves world, I don't think you can say that.
King of Ramen Shin says that this might be bigger than Infinity War.
No, I don't agree with that.
I think
I
dis-
was
I think I
shaking my head
disagree.
at that. I was
I
that's what I was
disagree.
I was shaking my head when
Yeah.
you were talking, because I saw that and I was like, no.
There's
King
no
of
way.
Ramen Shin. No. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it right
Sorry, that's incorrect.
That not yet. We're not there yet. But if you want to talk, I know we're not going to talk about. We'll keep going with Secret Wars.
we'll keep
I'm
going with
sorry.
Secret Wars.
Yeah.
No, you're good. Let's talk about so we talked about Nick Fury, we talked a little bit about Talos. We come to find out that his daughter is a part of this scroll gang in episode 1.
Yep.
Who that's Gaia.
Yep.
Played it from Emilia Clarke. And we really see like a battle with this character through episode 2 and 3, right? Like we see that she's trying to do good, but she's still a part of the wrong crowd, if that makes sense. It's like that kid who's like, he doesn't know where he's supposed to be, so he's trying to play in a little bit of both sides, if that makes sense, right? So like he's helping Garak or Gylak or what's his name?
Gravik.
Gravik. Sorry. Lila.
Sorry.
Gravik. She's helping Gravik, but deep down she's like torn because her father, Talos, is on the other side of her, basically. And so we see a lot of conflict in her. I think Emilia Clarke really plays this role really well. I think she was a killer actress in Game of Thrones, and she's been doing great here. So I want to hear you don't have a biased opinion because you didn't watch Game of Thrones. I do
Right.
a little bit. What's your thoughts on her and her portrayal?
No, I think she does an amazing job. My wife was, when she saw her, she's like, "Oh, I love Emilia." I was like, "I have no idea who this girl is." But I think what really stood out to me is her acting in episode 2, or not 2. I mean episode 3, where Gravik, and she's trying to hide that she is the mole, basically, within the scrolls. And I think she does an amazing job with basically standing her ground, as it's a hard role to play and to show that type of emotion, because she is trying to show that Gravik is trying to find out who's the mole is, and then she's trying to stand her ground and show that she's not the mole, and he has to go, whatever. So it's a hard role to play in acting, where you have to basically show that you are the mole, but also show that you're not. Yeah. And I think she
For the
played
character.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for the character, and she does it perfectly, and to prove to Gravik that she's not the mole, because she stood her ground when he was asking her questions specifically about the mole and who would be the mole, and the straight face she had with him, like, "I'm not the mole," like, and like no emotion, nothing phased her. Like there was a point there that was like, man, that's pretty good. That's really good. And so I was very impressed with her acting so far. I think she's
It
really
almost
good.
made us feel like we knew she was the mole, but like had we not watched anything before that, I probably would have been convinced that she wasn't the mole.
The mole,
right?
right?
So like that's how, I mean, she killed it.
She definitely killed it. That's for sure. She definitely killed it, and I'm sad. Well, we'll see what happens in these next episodes, but I was sad at the end when I don't know, like with
Jump
her.
into it. Talk. Go ahead.
I mean, like, so like she dies at the end of episode 3, or at least we are seeing her shot and transformed back into a scroll, and we aren't seeing. We're made to assume that she's dead, and so I'm curious to see if she's going to be coming back or not, because I do think she's a great actor, and she's a big time actor. And to be, in things like Game of Thrones. I wonder what other movies has she been in.
Emilia Clarke.
The
She's been in a
Terminator,
lot.
Me Before You, Solo. Oh, she was Solo.
She
Yeah,
is in
that's
Solo.
right.
Yep, she's in Solo.
Yeah,
Her
I mean,
her biggest one was Game of Thrones. That's
yeah,
how
I mean,
that's how everybody knows her.
I now know who she is from, but she does not look like that in this. So, but yeah, I think she does an incredible job, and the acting on this is incredible.
This is why I
and-
hate the show, but I also like the show, is that you just don't know at this point. Because anybody could have, like, we saw that in episode 3, we saw that Gravik and all of his henchmen turned into Gravik. And like spitting images, right? So it's like anybody could play it off.
Yeah.
So you just never know. Like she could have baited him into potentially killing some other guy, right?
But
or
then,
I don't know.
But yeah, that's a good question too. Like, who? You also want to ask a question of who is the guy that he's playing, like, or like that he is scroll of. Like, who is that guy? Maybe that has to do. I don't know. Like, maybe that has to do with specifically with what he's doing. Because a lot of the people who have come to power playing a different person that already has power. So why did Gravik choose this body in particular? Individual guy. So that's another question I always been or think about with Gravik is, I mean, it seems like he's now kind of taking over as Nick Fury right now. He's the guy that's always got a plan or a one up.
But for his side, yeah.
On his side, yeah.
He's the Nick Fury of the Scrolls,
right? And
basically.
basically, and he's and it. I mean, I don't know if you want to get into this. I mean, I'll bring it up because right now what's happening in episode 3 is what we find out, or episode 2 and 3 is that we find out that they're trying to make a superhuman, a super scroll, is what he calls it. And there was a point when Gravik sat down with Talos and they're having dinner, and Talos is basically getting mad at him. And he takes like a butter knife and rubs it, or like rams it right into stabs his hand, and then you see his hand like split, but then his hand heals, and you understand that he's one of the superhumans. But that brings me back to Iron Man 3. That's what I wanted to talk about too, is because this is Iron Man 3. From Iron Man 3, you have the people that heal themselves. What do they call themselves? I forget what they call them.
Doctors.
Yeah, doctors. I was just reading a bunch of things on this actually, because it was really interesting. Like, like the whole thing of him healing reminded me of Iron Man 3, when they were able to heal themselves. Mandarin.
The
Mandarin.
I think it is
right?
the Mandarin.
No, the Mandarin, he was the cover up, but yeah, Aldrich Killian was the guy who was creating something to create a superhuman, basically. And so this coincides with each other. And I was reading up on this actually, and found out that Marvel is skipping. Well, in the comics, what happened is Fantastic Four was a part of this. and this is how they created the Skrulls superhumans, is through the Fantastic Four. And so they skipped Fantastic Four through, I mean, because of this. And I'm curious to how they're going to take this and what they'll do with this, because they're changing here. They're changing something within the comics, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But now it's, what are you going to do with the Skrulls and
Fantastic Four?
Because that's basically they were gaining, from what I was reading, they gained the powers of all the Fantastic Four individual, with Invisible Woman, the Thing, what's his name, Flash Gordon? No, not Flash Gordon. The Flame, and then
The Human Torch.
the Human Torch, and then
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze.
But I don't know. That was really interesting to read on some of the things that they were saying
So
about.
you're saying the Fantastic Four was a part of this.
Yeah, in the original comics, that they were supposed to be a part of.
Son of a
the
biscuit eating
Skrulls.
sandwich.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, because I was going to.
that.
I know. That's what I was like thinking. Like, oh man, Matt should know about this, but then, well, obviously you don't know about it.
I don't know about this.
Well,
I want to.
Yeah, 'cause
This brings me back to when I was when we watched Black Panther last year.
Yeah.
And then I pull open the freaking Fantastic Four book that I bought.
Yeah.
And Namor was in that freaking or in that comic, and come to find out they had a close connection. I'm thinking to myself, how did they not get mentioned at least one time, right? Like, what the heck's going on?
Well,
And then now you're saying that they bring another property that's somewhat associated to Fantastic Four. Like, come on, like bring the big reveal.
Just
Like,
do
bring them
something,
in. Like, do
you know?
something. Like,
from what I was understanding too, from what they were saying, oh man, I can't find it now.
like I am ready for Reed Richards to come out and create some freaking god boss killing machine, because that's what he can do. He literally has like machines, and he can basically create anything. And he's one of the most powerful superheroes in all of Marvel, in terms of his just ability to create items to destroy other people and outsmart people, and
even more than Iron Man,
Tony Stark.
Tony Stark. Why can I only think of the actor, but I can't think of the actual like? It's like Robert Downey Jr., but what's the guy he plays?
I think Tony definitely had some symbols for it, but like Reed Richards is the smartest human alive, even though it didn't show in Doctor Strange. Unfortunately, just didn't show. He obviously tried to stretchy arm Scarlet Witch and just got ripped to pieces. But yeah, I mean, he's one of the most powerful superheroes we have, for sure. Just because his ability to create certain things, like certain machines to destroy galactic level opponents.
Right.
Like being able to time
He's
travel.
a genius. But that's
genius.
But now here's the question is, I guess they can just, there's a bunch of storylines that they can go with Marvel, the Fantastic Four. And they're just veering away in this way with the Fantastic Four and doing their own spinoff with it. But there's gotta be some type of superhuman or superhero that comes in to defeat them in Secret Invasion. There has to be, because
or at least a mention.
Something like that, because they're already at threat level, like they're already at a superhero threat level right now, because Nick Fury is not going to be able to take them out. What's his name? Talos won't be able to take him out. He's just a normal Skrull, but now we have a bunch of superhumans that they can now mimic, or not superhumans, super Skrulls that they can mimic. So how are they going to be able to defeat them? And I mean, this is probably going to be a 2 series. I mean, seasons, maybe 3. I don't know how
I
many
think
seasons.
it's a one and done.
Really?
I think it's a one and done. 6 episodes. Yep. Have you noticed these episodes are a lot longer than like the other episodes that have
I
came
mean,
out?
it's 56. I mean, an hour. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty long.
Yeah, for like a TV show. They've been 55 minutes, 58, and then 44, which is a lot normal than most.
Sorry, my father-in-law was playing his, and I was like, "What the heck is that noise?" And I
Freaking-
hear it.
Having a good time over there.
He's listening to his
Uh,
audiobook.
There you go.
Right?
But yeah, I want to see John Krasinski as Reed Richards again overall, and I feel like if it's connecting the Secret Wars, this would be a perfect opportunity at least to address or to bring up the Fantastic Four. But you are right. This show, adding in the superpowers for episode 3, is that now it's a superhero level threat, which tells me, which this is my inference, is that Rhodey will be coming in to assist episode 4 or 5 or 6, one of those two. But the problem is, I do agree with King of Ramen Shin. I do think that Rhodey will die. I think Rhodey will die. But I have a suspicion that he is a Skrull.
Right. That's what I was going to say. I think he's more of a Skrull than anything else because he wanted Nick Fury out of everything. And he had really no other people were saying to get out or to be removed from episode 2 except
Just
for
him.
himself. He didn't have anyone from like secretary or anyone calling Nick Fury or anything like that. So you can kind of assume, I mean, you know what assuming does, but that he is a Skrull. But that's the thing too about this whole series is just
Do you think I can
anyone,
assume a
everyone's a
little bit?
Skrull. Everyone's a Skrull, dude. What?
Everyone is a. I said, do you think I can assume? Because if I remember correctly, we watched a TV show recently, and I freaking called the ending.
What TV
Star
show?
Wars. Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. Oh gosh.
Yep.
You didn't.
I called it, and you know it. Lewis was on the call. Actually,
You did
Lewis
not
was wrong.
call it.
Lewis was wrong too.
Lewis was wrong,
Lewis
but
was
he
wrong,
he was
wrong.
famous for being wrong. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
he
Lewis.
I don't. He shouldn't even be bad for being wrong. It's just like
No.
man, my guy
His Reddit
Lewis.
post popped off.
Mm-hmm. You got
The
no
amount of
reason,
time and
no
effort that
shame to
guy
be
put
mad.
into that freaking Reddit
But he
post.
said he watched it once and then wrote that
No.
thing.
I'm
Didn't
sorry,
he
Lewis.
say
If you're
that?
watching, he did. I think Lewis. I don't believe it, and we're not upset if you watched
yeah.
it multiple times. There's no way that you watched it one time and you were able to formulate all of that. But I did call it at the end of the show is that Bo-Katan was going to come out the hero, and both of you said that that she should die, and I said she's a side character that could make it as a big role, and she did. But anyway, we're off the topic of Mandalorian. But assumptions, yeah, you're right. Assumptions can only take us so far, but
Right.
based off of episode 3, or was it 2? It was either 2 or 3 with the Rhodey scene. I definitely am getting vibes that this is a Skrull from Gravik's side, and I
Yeah.
think at the end of this, he's gonna die, and we're gonna have a big, Rhodey died, but this wasn't this was a Skrull the entire time, and that someone else was actually a Rhodey somewhere else. The other thing I want to talk about, we come to find out that Nick Fury got married, man, with a Skrull.
Yeah, with the scroll.
With the
dude.
Skrull. How do you feel about that? I was kind of awkward at first, to be honest with you. It was kind of weird.
I don't know. I don't have like too much of a feeling towards it. It's kind of just okay, but what's the point? That's my whole thing. Is what is the point of showing us that he married a Skrull? But there
connection.
was in the beginning of episode 3, they mention what's his face, the Russian guy, that did the Red. He created the Black Widow. And then what's his face? Red.
Been talking about.
Scarlet. Black Widow and the red guy that's like her father, basically. But what was the guy that made that whole society? Because there's a mention of him in that whole thing.
Dreykov. I don't know.
Kov.
Dreykov.
Yep, Dreykov. Yep. She mentions that and she hands him something. So they meet at this whole tavern, and she gives him slips Nick Fury something, and mention you're gonna give Dreykov a run for his money or something with this. Which kind of brings back to your point from the last episode that I thought was like really interesting, because you were talking about the what is the what's the this gosh darn it, what's the whole that story that gosh darn it, what's the story that goes with that group of people with
the Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts, yes.
Yeah.
So that goes with that. I was like, oh, interesting, because that could go with what's going to happen and what superheroes could go into this.
Thunderbolts is a good option, actually, for this type of level of threat.
Right, because that's what I'm saying, is because now they're following that type of thread. You hear it a little bit, but not like not a whole lot. You don't. It was very slight, but I heard her, and I was like, "Oh, what's this Dreykov?" And so I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. He was the guy who started the whole freaking society, Soviet Armed Forces, or no, the Red Room."
I didn't even catch that.
Well, I watched. Yeah, it was after I watched the second time. I was like, "Oh, interesting." But
yeah, I think this show, and just so you guys know, like, it's really hard to talk about this show and like the direction of where it's going, because you don't really know. That's the big problem, is you just never know with this episode. But what I will say, the thing that Marvel has failed to do in the past that they're doing with this TV show is that they're willing to kill off people so far. And do I think it was too soon for Emilia Clarke so far? And who knows, like we said, we don't know. She could come back and something completely random happen, and you're just like, oh, okay, we're pulling a Loki here where you died and then it was all a trick or something. But they kill Maria Hill, and then they kill Emilia Clarke's character, where I think we should have had those deaths in, Ant-Man and the Wasp, for an example, which was a big one, right? Like ones that we were ready to take. Hey, let's end a character here, a significant character, but now they're killing off some sub-significant characters, if you will. But we're seeing that they're taking risks with that, right? Like everybody loves Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones. Like people are watching Secret Invasion just because she's on it,
right?
And now that they kill her off, now it's like, oh shoot, okay, well now they're really taking risks. I'm excited to see what happens moving forward. The beauty of this show is there's a direction, but there's not a direction, because that direction that we're thinking of could change at any moment,
right?
Just based off of the fact that they can transform into whoever they want.
Yeah.
Right. Like I still think to this day that who knows if Captain America was a Skrull? Who knows if the people that came before this TV show were a Skrull? Because we see it in this TV show that the lives that Nick Fury has lived, you're just like, it can get flipped over very quickly because Talos and his people can transform into whoever they want.
Right.
And you're just like, all right, I don't really know how to deal with this. That's
No,
kind of the
and-
situation of
And
the
that's
show.
just what makes this whole series good, because you're wanting to figure out what is actually going on, like what is happening and what's the whole point of this,
Yeah.
because it could be changed on a dime just like that. And you're just waiting for it to basically crumble and try to understand why it crumbled. But then at the same time, seeing it crumbled, you could see it regain, like it can come back to this.
Flip.
Yeah, it could flip. So it's a really interesting way of approaching this. Of course, though, you have to have boundaries. You can't just, I feel like you can't just make everyone a scroll. I mean, there's a million scrolls basically living
Sure.
on planet Earth, but there's 8 billion people. So running into a scroll or whatever would be, kind of,
Slim to none.
slim to none. Well, I mean, let me do the math here. So we got 1 million divided by 1 or 8 billion. That's 8. Oh, it won't even let me go that far. We'll go 7,999,999. 0.125, basically
Divided by
a tenth of a percent of somebody
1/8.
being. It's 1/8.
Or 8,000. It's 8,000. It's 8,000. 8 billion divided by 1 million.
8,000. Okay, good. But like, they have to have boundaries. They can't just make everyone a scroll, obviously. So they have to pick and choose who their scrolls are. Obviously, this TV series is about scrolls, so the majority of the people that we're going to be seeing are scrolls. But there needs to be also, I mean, I think we can trust Nick Fury. And I think in these last 2 episodes, he shows that we can trust him, especially in the episode 3 where they're going to Bob's house and what?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Talos.
Bob.
Yeah, Talos. I'm sorry, we got a burp, but it's not.
You're
But
talking
Talos,
about Bob for the
when
for the missile.
For the missile, Talos was able to shape shift, but Nick Fury was just kind of sitting in the background. So if he was, I feel like if he was, unless he's trying to keep, I don't know. I don't think so.
You just never know.
You
Like
never
you can
know.
never know. But as of right now, the people that we can trust as not a scroll is Nick Fury,
Yeah.
and that's
that's-
pretty much it.
But that's what they want you to believe and know, that Nick Fury is the guy you can trust and is not a scroll.
And then they could just completely just end our
But
lives.
that's the thing,
by
is like,
flipping it.
you don't know. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know who is the scroll. I don't know.
I'm ready for them to hit me with a bomb.
Well, I mean,
not like a physical bomb, but like I'm ready for them to just like make us realize or bring up the past of like an Avengers movie and tell us that like freaking Vision wasn't a I don't know, just throwing out something random. Captain America wasn't Captain America, it was a scroll or something
Yeah.
like that. I'm ready for something like that.
that'll be, I mean, we're halfway through this season already. So there's got to be some type of bomb either here in the 4th or 5th episode. There's got to be a bomb that I'm
How would
assuming
you
it's
feel if there wasn't?
there wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, I think if there was, the thing that would have to be, I mean, the big bomb that I'm expecting, and that I am expecting, is the superhero, is that they're going to bring some type of superhero in. And if there's not, I don't know how they're going to fix the problem. I don't know. Like, that's,
I don't think Nick Fury can do it by himself.
No, definitely not. And if they do that, it's just unrealistic.
Him
not
and
real.
him and Talos.
Yeah, no way they will be able to do that. No way. And if they do, that's just that's a bad writing.
Yeah.
I
They've
think
got to
that's
have
just-
somebody.
They got to have somebody that is a superhero type
To match.
to match these new. Unless, what if Talos though then gets the
Man, we are
superhero?
going in the weeds on this, but
what
I'm
if
thinking, what if Talos flips on him, on Nick, and stabs him in the back and kills Nick?
Interesting. But then what would be the point? Because right now Talos is the only thing is his daughter.
Imagine
And
this. Okay, imagine this.
Okay.
They're about to kill. He wants to wipe out the whole Earth. That's what Gravik wants to do.
Yeah, Gravik,
basically.
yep.
Everybody on the Earth, right?
Human beings, yep.
Human beings. So now there's a dilemma of him killing all the human beings or him killing all of the Skrulls with Nick Fury, right? Nick Fury could be put in the choice of killing all the Skrulls or let Gravik kill all the humans. That's actually a case that could happen. And then it puts Talos in a bind to either go with the Skrulls or kill Nick Fury. To protect his people or to protect Nick Fury.
I'm not following.
So Gravik wants to kill all humans.
Right.
Right? Let's say he makes a bomb or something.
Yeah.
To kill all humans. Right? But then Nick can kill all the Skrulls with that same bomb. Now he's put in a dilemma where Talos has to choose between following Nick or his Skrulls. That's something that could actually happen in the show.
Yeah, but then I don't know how you would twist it to say then how does the human race survive?
Well, then that's where the Avenger level threat comes in. Is that now we bring in the
yeah,
Avengers?
But this isn't meant to be a Avenger. Like this wasn't meant to go to an Avenger level threat.
I wanted to.
Please.
I really wanted. Please. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. We're thinking, but overall, guys, this was these were a really good 2 episodes. Definitely go check them out if you haven't already. Again, it's really hard to review a show like this. It was super easy to review The Last of Us because it was very story driven. This show is very up in the air, and it could be up for interpretation. It could be, the story completely flips in a matter of seconds, and we just don't know, and we can't predict that, which is what we like and what we want.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it's safe to say, and I think I'm reading you, Regan, is that we both think that there's gonna be a bomb dropped on us, and we're just not sure when or how effective the bomb is gonna be. But I think we're excited for it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm totally excited for it. I don't know who the superhero or person's going to be. I think it's gonna be. I mean, obviously, it could be an old one, but I think what Marvel is moving forward with is releasing new characters to the scene and who's who. So they might reveal a new character here too, a new superhero, which would be interesting. But yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is our review for Secret Invasion. If you liked the review, if you had any questions, your own thoughts, your own opinions, drop them down below. This is just the boys hanging out, the boys talking about the show, giving us our spoilers, our thoughts, the potential future of the show. So anything you guys want to talk about, please drop it down below. Do you have any hauls? I don't.
I did take my son to the comic book store, which was the first time I ever went to the comic book store because fun fact, I didn't grow up reading comic books. My parents wouldn't even let me. But I took my son to the comic book store and let him buy or get some comic books. I bought them for him. But it was good to see him kind of go through those. I don't have the comic books here with me, but if I did, I'd show him to you. He loves them. They're like a Black Panther. He got some interesting ones that like were like in a plastic covering, so they're probably maybe worth something, but he ruined them. So it's his comics. Let him do what he wants with them. Ruin them. Who knows?
That's funny.
So yeah.
Next week, let me just double check here. Just so you guys can get a idea. Next week we will be, I think we're going to be doing Sound of Freedom. You want to go to Sound of Freedom?
Dude, we got to do that. That's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about before we talked about this whole Secret Invasion, because I watched a podcast about the guys that created it and the main actor, and man, is it just a powerful just story. And then I watched the trailer for it, and it just gave me goosebumps. And I'm just really want to watch this. I'm going to go see it. I probably Tyler wants to really see it, so I have to make sure if we do go see it, we get tickets for Tyler as well.
Sure. You're coming over on this Saturday or no?
Yeah, I can come over on Saturday.
So we can just do it Saturday.
Yeah, we can do this Saturday.
You can just meet up with us and we can go freaking watch the movie.
Yeah, we'll see.
She doesn't want to drive over there?
I don't think so. And then we'll have to find somebody. I think we might go see it another day, but we might go see it earlier because it's already out. I think the closest place for us though is Roseville that has it.
Oh, Waconia. Oh gosh. The only spot that I found that was open that had it for Imagine
was only Waconia. One spot.
Really? That I found it was Waconia.
All of that has the movie.
Yeah.
There. I don't know. I actually also wanted to call Imagine Willow Creek live on air and ask them, hey, just checking to see if you got Sound of Freedom. And then they're going to tell me no. And then I'm going to well, would you be able to, I would call it and then I'd have you call right afterwards. And
you guys please show it.
Please.
For me. I'm excited. I think it's a topic that not a lot of people want to talk about.
Right.
And actually the crazy thing is that companies weren't even wanting to have this movie in their movie theater, which is crazy to me because it's I think we all think child trafficking, sex trafficking is really bad. I don't think there's anybody in the world that agrees with that. Even the people who are doing it don't think it's right, but they're doing it anyway. Because it just goes against the moral and ethical beliefs of a human. It's just against human nature. And so I'm excited to see it. The following week we're going to be going and seeing Barbie. It's going to be we're going to get a little dressed up for it, so you guys be ready for it. We're going to have a good old time. Might do a little video for it.
Oh gosh.
And we're going to have a guest speaker on next week. Guest on our podcast, so be ready for that. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review on those two so that way we know. Leave us comments, critique us, let us know if we're doing things bad because we can handle it. We can take it. We're not worried about you telling us if we're bad. Tell us why we're bad, how we can get better. We'd prefer it actually than people not saying anything. So drop us down that information. But other than that, we'll freaking tune in next week, Monday, 8 p.m. Regan, any last thoughts before we freaking send this freaking crap off?
Love you guys.
Peace. Have a good.
Thanks for listening to the Double G Show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Goof and Goober Show. And why don't you check out our Instagram page at The Goof and Goober Show for even more content and drop a follow. Thanks again,
and have a wonderful day.